How strong is Ultra Ego Vegeta? In the vast and dynamic universe of Dragon Ball, characters like Goku, Gohan, Frieza, Broly, and even Piccolo constantly push their limits, unlocking new forms, striving for greater strength and mastery over their abilities. Among them stands Vegeta, a proud Saiyan warrior whose journey towards self-improvement is as legendary as it is relentless. In the recent iterations of the series, particularly in the Dragon Ball Super manga, Vegeta achieves a new pinnacle of power, Ultra Ego. By dissecting what the Ultra Ego form actually is, covering Vegeta's evolution as a character, and literally looking at the manga to see the form's feats, we will uncover the depth of Ultra Ego Vegeta's true power. First of all, before we get into the actual transformation or technique, and it's basically both, what does the word ego mean? The exact definition is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. In a psychoanalysis viewpoint, ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. To break it down, someone's ego is their sense of their own worth. For example, if someone has a large ego, then they would think that they are very important and valuable. Sound like somebody we know? Vegeta. Okay, so what is Ultra Ego then? We need to cover some statements in the Dragon Ball Super manga, specifically chapter 68, where Vegeta and Beerus are watching Whis train Ultra Instinct Goku, perfected Ultra Instinct Goku. Beerus asks Vegeta if he will try to master the Ultra Instinct technique too, and Vegeta replies with that it doesn't suit him and that he'll surpass Goku another way. Beerus agrees that UI wouldn't suit Vegeta, but maybe another path will, a path that gods of destructions go down. Continuing into Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 69, Beerus starts questioning Vegeta, which really unravels some of who Vegeta is, and this is very important to breaking down the Ultra Ego form. Beerus asks Vegeta, how many planets have you Saiyans destroyed? Vegeta says, hard to say. Fighting was the only way of life for my people, so we had a way of racking up sin after sin. Beerus says, sin, huh? Vegeta continues his story about the history of the Saiyans and their sins, and this actually angers Beerus. And the reason this angers Beerus is because Vegeta's true powers are dormant and held back because of his blame towards himself for the sins of the Saiyans. Beerus literally says, as long as doubt weighs down your soul, this power will never be yours to wield, and he's talking about his destruction powers. He continues on to tell Vegeta, your own crimes aside, you're feeling guilty for the sins of all Saiyans, but then soon after he adds, everything those Saiyans did in the past, what does it got to do with you now? As long as you're trapped by the past, you'll never manage to grow past this point. My mind is always on destruction and nothing else. That's why there's no limit to my power. Listen, if you really want this power, you're gonna have to destroy any stray thoughts and recreate yourself from scratch. Before creation comes destruction. And that's the point. The point being is that to achieve godlike powers, to achieve Ultra Ego, the user must let go of all pain and any weights or anything that holds them back in their mind. Anything that ruins their self-esteem or self-importance, aka their ego. And Vegeta takes this advice to heart, which you're gonna see in a second. Continuing on to Dragon Ball Super manga chapter 74, we see Vegeta first transform into Ultra Ego. Right before this transformation though, Vegeta is getting pushed back by Granola, and Vegeta has this huge smile on his face. He tells Granola, there's no planet to protect, no people to save, just me immersed in battle, my happy place. Vegeta then begins his transformation, and he could only do this because nothing is on his mind besides his love for battle. This is a phrase you're going to hear a lot in this video because it is a key component to the Ultra Ego form. You have to think just like Beerus, he's always thinking of destruction, and now Vegeta's new identity of self, or his ego, is that he is a proud Saiyan warrior that loves a blood-filled battle. It's important to note here that Goku feels this change from Vegeta, change in power that is, coming about and says Vegeta's ki just changed, feels like God ki to me, but not just any old God ki. This is simply implying that Vegeta is now using God of Destruction powers fully and with no apparent limits rather than his normal God ki from Super Saiyan God. It's almost like they're two different power level playing fields, if that makes sense. But I digress. Going more into what Ultra Ego is, Vegeta explains that his form is power derives solely from instinct, and that power is unbounded, which matches up to when Beerus said there's no limit to his power due to having his mind always on destruction. That's Beerus's natural instinct. Vegeta's natural instinct is loving battle and the thrill of the fight, the thrill of the hunt. When the warrior is aligned with only that single idea of who they are in their mind, they can acquire this unbounded god of destruction power. And to further explain, an aspect of the power being unbounded is that the user grows in power when receiving damage. Obviously, too much damage at a time can make the user lose sight, become hazy, and get hurt eventually. However, this is basically just taking the idea of a Saiyan becoming stronger during battle to the extreme end of the spectrum, where pain and damage increase Vegeta's power in real time. For example, Vegeta gets punched in the face and his power increases. Regardless, the point is that Ultra Ego is being all about ego, being one's true self, owning it, and having limitless power theoretically. Yes, as long as the user does have some awesome durability and can fully let go of anything holding them back, the user, in this case Vegeta, based on what Beerus is saying before, will have unbounded, aka limitless power. So now that we know what Ultra Ego is, I'd like to cover why Vegeta is perfectly suited for this form by covering his evolution as a character. And to put it simply, from his first arrival in the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z to even current times, Vegeta has always been an ego-filled Saiyan. And let's be honest, his ego has been crushed multiple times. We first see him as a warrior that thinks of himself as the best elite level Saiyan fighter, but he is humbled by Goku, Gohan, Krillin, and even Yajirobe, and while Vegeta actually won this battle in a literal sense, mentally he felt defeated and had a new quest in the Namek saga to be the strongest once again. But it is Goku that achieves the pinnacle of power of his Saiyan race, the legendary form of Super Saiyan, and Vegeta's pride, his ego, is torn apart again. And this continues to be a common theme for Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, being always one step behind Goku, even in the Cell saga and the Buu saga. But now in Super, after Vegeta's redemption into a quote-unquote good guy by the end of the Buu arc, Vegeta is now more in a mindset of breaking his limits rather than just surpassing Goku. He is also trying to be a better man in general, and we could see it in the Super series that he is a better man. He's more involved with his family, and he even protects people now. We see this in the Moral arc. Vegeta is truly trying to be a better man, but what's the reason for this? Well, let's go back to the questions that Beerus asked Vegeta in Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 69. It is established that Vegeta feels the sins of the Saiyans, and this is one of the reasons that he tries to be a better man, which is great. However, it comes at the cost of his ego holding him back and not being solely about his instinct for battle, that is. And for this power, this Ultra Ego power-up, the user needs to let go of the past, needs to be who they truly are deep down. And in Vegeta's case, he is a prideful warrior that only cares about the thrill of the hunt and battle. And it's this evolution of Vegeta's mindset, him letting go of the past, the sins of his fellow Saiyans, trying to surpass Goku, and trying to be a better man, and just focusing on the thrill of fighting, this is what allows him to finally achieve this new, unbounded God of Destruction power called Ultra Ego. It's important to take note that this power was always in Vegeta's potential. He even tells Granola that he was not granted this power, rather their fight is what pushed this transformation, and that the power was always there. It made Vegeta align his mind to just focus on his love of fighting, and this is what the trigger was for the Ultra Ego technique. Just to further show, Vegeta in Manga Chapter 75, when explaining the Ultra Ego power, says that this innate power within me, and he's basically saying that he's had this power in him all along. The definition of innate is existing in, belonging to, or determined by factors present in an individual from birth, which Vegeta, as explained, has always been an egotistical fighter. He used to only care about winning and fighting. So with the process of letting go of all identity and making only the taste for battle be who Vegeta is, the Ultra Ego technique is achievable, and it's perfectly tailored to Vegeta's character and makes sense that this is the path he would go down. And just to clarify, he's not letting go of being a better man. He still is. It's just when he's going into this God of Destruction power territory, the only thing that's on his mind is winning, is the fight. Finally, now that we've covered what the Ultra Ego form actually is and how Vegeta obtained the form, let's power scale the form to see where it stacks on the pecking order of warriors. And we need to look deep in the manga together to actually see how powerful he is. First of all, keep in mind that before Ultra Ego Vegeta fights Granola, we saw perfected Ultra Instinct Goku fighting Granola, and when Granola used his full power, he one-shotted perfected UI Goku. Now, I know the accuracy drops for Goku with time passing and Granola's eye being able to see vital points allowed for that one-shot drop on Goku. But regardless, Granola at this point is stronger definitively than perfected Ultra Instinct Goku. However, we see Ultra Ego actually keeping up with Granola. To continue on, we next see the fight between Vegeta and Granola is slowly but surely knocking back Vegeta. That is until Ultra Ego is unlocked. We need to pay close attention here to the fight itself. In Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 75, if you're looking at the panels on the screen, Ultra Ego Vegeta is folding Granola, at least in the beginning of their fight. And this becomes easier as Vegeta's power grows when he is taking damage. Now, Granola does grow in strength too during their fight, but UE Vegeta is hanging in there for the most part until the effects of taking all that damage start setting in. Vegeta then technically loses the fight, and in Manga Chapter 76, he loses the form. But not long after, he tags back in and goes right back into Ultra Ego, pushing Granola back once again. However, Granola does end up having an upper edge on Vegeta again due to him growing in power as well. He blasts Vegeta at point blank range, and this knocks Vegeta out of Ultra Ego. We see Vegeta talking with himself, almost like talking to Beerus but in his mind, saying, "I couldn't revert to the callous, unfeeling man I once was. The god of destruction power was beyond the scope of a novice like me." And what this implies is that Vegeta could even push Ultra Ego further, but there is still a part of him that can't fully let go of the sins of the Saiyans and get his mind 100% aligned with just his excitement to fight. But this all changes due to Goku's father, Bardock, and his story. In Manga Chapter 84, Vegeta finally acknowledges that his burden is not the sins of all Saiyans, but rather his people's pride. It is then explained that a people's pride isn't about atoning for sins of the past, and it's not about revenge. It's about accepting your nature and sticking to your convictions, aka your beliefs. And what does Vegeta believe? What does he always say? He is the prince of all Saiyans. Vegeta is a prideful person, and he now at this point finally accepts that and lets go of the past completely. As he tells Gas, in quotes, "What drives us now is the sheer desire to win." And that was the point of Ultra Ego, to have a single identity and desire to be in the thrill of the fight and to win. That's what Vegeta's pride is. It's loving the thrill of battle and winning. In Manga Chapter 84, Vegeta and Goku start to fight Gas in Vegeta's new and improved Ultra Ego form and Goku's perfected Ultra Instinct form. And at first, it seems that Ultra Ego Vegeta and UI Goku are on the same level, but as the fight continues on, you can tell that Vegeta is actually gaining the upper hand over Goku, not by much, but a little bit, and he's closing the gap between him and Gas slowly but surely. This is due to Vegeta getting stronger when taking damage. In case in point, Vegeta knocks back Gas at the end of Chapter 84, and this is a Gas that has control as Berserker form now and evolved as a fighter since first gaining his new powers to be the strongest in the universe. This continues on in Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 85. Gas gets hits on Vegeta and bam, Vegeta gut punches him like never before. Vegeta even thanks him for the prime fuel, referring to his power increasing. Continuing on, we see Vegeta telling Goku to stay back because his Ultra Ego is evolving as he fights, basically getting more powerful as we can see, but he also tells Goku that his Ultra Instinct seems no different than before. And I say all this to depict where Vegeta is on the power scale now compared to other characters. Ultra Ego Vegeta, at this point in time, is clearly stronger than perfected Ultra Instinct Goku. Now, I know you could say this could be due to Goku's heart not being calm at the moment, but we don't really have enough information at this time. Regardless, Ultra Ego Vegeta in this chapter at this specific point is stronger than UI Goku. That is obviously until Goku starts using true Ultra Instinct and actually becomes more powerful than Gas temporarily. He even states this in Chapter 85. And then obviously this is until Gas expends more of his lifespan to gain more power. But okay, so what does this all mean? Well, Ultra Ego Vegeta is not going to be on Black Frieza level or Gas level, and probably not Gohan Beast level, at least at this point. However, I would say he is right under those characters in terms of strength due to being super close in power to Goku's true Ultra Instinct. The manga panels, the fights with Gas, show us this. Still though, it has to be taken with a grain of salt, because as we've uncovered in this video, the Ultra Ego power is unbounded, meaning he could possibly match characters like Gas, Black Frieza, Gohan, and Goku in power depending on how the fight is going, depending on how his durability is and how many attacks he can actually take without fainting. To further explain, this just means that if Vegeta can increase his durability against attacks and get better control over his ki, just like he states in manga chapter 93 that he's working on this, then his power truly will be limitless and he'll rival characters like Black Frieza or Gas. And this will be something that happens. In chapter 93, Goku asks Vegeta for words of wisdom, and the following is Vegeta's reply. Jiren, Broly, Moro, Gas, and now even Frieza. I was shown to be inferior to all these foes of our recent years. What did they have that I lack? Goku suggests that they need to train their bodies more. Vegeta responds with, incorrect. Our physical bodies have long since been honed to their limits. In that respect, our training already made us on par with those opponents. The key difference lies in how we wield our power. There's still too much excess, too much wasted energy when we fight. To command 100% of our power, we must force our bodies and spirits to relax outside of the moments when we attack. Attacking in a relaxed state keeps the enemy from reading one's move, and doing so allows for instantaneous explosive power, and this will also preserve stamina. Now I show this passage because it highlights Vegeta's new train of thought, and because of this mindset, he will continue to increase the power of Ultra Ego. Even in the Dragon Ball Super Exciting Guide, translated by Herms, Toriyama explains the exact key to winning a battle, and it lines up with what Vegeta's mindset is now, currently. To explain, Toriyama states, in battle, the most important thing is the size of your ki and your control over it. Ki is a concept, of course, that includes such spiritual powers as energy, aka Genki, courage, which is Yuki, and right-mindedness, which is Shoki. No matter how much you train, there are limits to physical strength, and the only way to overcome them is through ki. And this has always been a thing in Dragon Ball. Look back to when Super Saiyan 2 Kid Gohan is facing Cell in their Kamehameha beam clash. Gohan needed to get his mind right to use all of his power. Sound familiar? Yes, this is what Vegeta has learned, just to a farther extent at this point. Vegeta is learning to have only his instinct to fight, be who he is completely, and to become right-minded and take full control over his ki. Doing this will put Ultra Ego Vegeta way above Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, and Broly, and maybe Frieza, with enough time of course, but at this time, Ultra Ego Vegeta is right behind true Ultra Instinct Goku, in my opinion, in terms of power, but he is stronger than a perfected Ultra Instinct Goku. With or without the calm heart, I'm not sure. I'll let you guys decide that for yourselves, but I personally think that true UI is stronger than perfected UI, and I think Vegeta, Ultra Ego, is right in between those forms. Now, if you want an answer as to whether Ultra Ego Vegeta is a galaxy or universal buster or not, I'd say 1000% Ultra Ego Vegeta is universal level and not on the low end of the spectrum. And with enough training, as Beerus said, Ultra Ego has no limit of power. And that was the whole idea of Ultra Ego. And that's the difference between Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct. And this is something that I actually might do a full in-depth video where I compare Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. But for now, in simple terms, Ultra Instinct is where the fighter has a clear and calm mind, and is where the user has self-movement that can avoid any danger. Whis literally says this to Goku and Vegeta in the Resurrection of F movie when talking about mastery of self-movement. But Ultra Ego, on the other hand, is where the user is only thinking of who they are. One focus, one foundational thought of self, and the power capacity is limitless. So, to explain, instinct equals calm and to dodge. Ego equals thinking of self and to grow in power. At this point in time, this is all the information about Ultra Ego Vegeta and his power. Let me know who you think Ultra Ego Vegeta can beat in terms of power. In conclusion, thank you all for watching. If you dig the content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification to not miss any future content, and also hit that like button as it helps get this video spread out to other fans. Lastly, here's your reminder to keep moving forward. No matter what's going on in your life, there is hope. And just like Vegeta, learn who you are and use that power to beat any mental battles that you're in. Keep pushing and never give up. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace!